Okay, AJ, I know you still have games to play, but it feels that the autopsy on the 2023 Padres has already begun. A couple different articles out on the clubhouse, on the culture. Is there anything that you can address about how you feel about the culture of the Padres as it stands?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like you mentioned, we still have baseball to be played, and like our focus is honestly winning tonight, and we know. At the end of the day, like 5.5 back, and it's going to be it's going to be a situation where we know it's a long shot to get in the playoffs. But honestly, it's been the biggest focus, is doing everything we can to give us a chance here down the stretch and to make it interesting. And when we get to the end of the year, we'll assess and go from there.
You have a lot of big dogs in that clubhouse. The Manny Machados, Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Tatis. Did any of the reports about the clubhouse chemistry or the culture surprise you at all?
I mean, again, I think I think we've said it here. You need a lot of talented players if you're going to win. The teams that win championships have star players, and again, like I know those guys. Like we have a lot of good guys down there. A lot of guys that have won. A lot of leaders. I don't feel it's a situation where those guys are haven't gotten along this season, and that's why we're not in the in the top part of the standings. I really honestly don't feel that's the way. Just at the end of the day, we'll get to the end of the year. We'll talk about. All different things, performance, how the pieces fit, how the roster was put together. Definitely there's always like some kind of, chemistry component of any team that you put together. But the guys like each other. I think some of that's been overblown, honestly. A lot of that's been overblown. I think like all the attention on just Manny, there's a lot of leaders in that clubhouse. Like we've never put the team together, looking at just one person and saying all the responsibilities on that one person to perform or to lead. And again, like we're just looking to win games here down the stretch and to make this thing interesting.
All season long, every baseball executive, all the analysts, the Jim Bowdens of the world, kept waiting for the Padres to turn it around because there's too much talent on this roster. As you look back, any rhyme or reason as to why this team really never put it together until perhaps maybe when it's too late in September? Is there a roster construction problem when you look at it?
Again, like when we get to the end of the year, whenever that is, we'll have more of those conversations. We've obviously. I think I've heard a lot of the same things all year, from other executives and other baseball people. Hey, this team is too good a team. And I think those people usually have a pretty good idea. And I think some of the underlying numbers will tell you, like the team, we expected to be playing in a better spot. But again, like I think one of the biggest things here in San Diego, the expectations have been raised. I think from day one we've talked about. Getting a team to where, getting to the World Series and playing into October is the goal of the organization. I think that's a good thing. That's healthy. We embrace that. When we get to the end of the season, we'll have more conversation about, exactly the good and the bad, what went on this year, and hopefully that's an extended conversation. We pull something off here that's pretty special down the stretch, and we go from there. How
do you best describe your relationship with Bob Melvin? Is it a close relationship? Is it a cordial relationship? Is it a good relationship?
Yeah, I think a lot. I've heard all different things. You guys don't talk. You don't speak. We talk. 5 times a day. I think we're constantly talking. Sharing ideas, sharing thoughts. I'm asking him his opinion all the time, and and getting his feedback and letting him run his club. So, I think from that point in time, we're always talking, we're always having conversation. We have a tight relationship, and at the end of the day, he's expect him to continue to lead this team here down the stretch and hopefully get us in a playoff spot here in the last couple of weeks.
I know you're not going to answer the bigger questions till the end of the season, so I'm not going to ask you. But are you a micromanager? Do you find that to be a somewhat accurate description?
Yeah, I think from my standpoint, like leadership style, I think we hire good people. I think you try to rely on those people. Yeah, I ask a lot of questions. I know that. I think that's definitely a big part of what we do. Is
define a lot of questions. When you say you hire people and you ask a lot of questions, like you ask about.
I think to me at the end of the day, you always want to ask questions. Honestly, because you want to learn and you want to grow, and just kind of making sure, hey, ultimately, throwing different topics on the table. And letting a group of talented people, talk about that, and you try to, from my position, you try to, get into, this is some, not consensus, but this is, ultimately what we're, from a goal standpoint, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and then, setting some short-term goals and seeing if we can accomplish them.